Let's talk about Squid Game Season 2. The highly anticipated show has returned after 3 years, and this show was everywhere back in 2021. You could not escape it. Everybody was talking about it. It was the it show right after Tiger King, right? Like, if I think of two shows that were like the big time during the pandemic, it would be Tiger King and Squid Game. But here we are, alas, 3 years after with Season 2, and this season ends on a cliffhanger into Season 3, which feels like an even bigger cliffhanger than Season 1. But in my honest opinion, I think this was just going to be one season, but Netflix, being the people that they are, probably said divide that in half. We want more viewers, more subscriptions, save that until next time. So that's what happened here, right? Funny thing about Squid Game is this show showcases just how corrupt capitalism can be and greed and all of that, and yet we go out and we make parodies, spin-offs, and people actually think a real life Squid Game is a good idea. All of that aside, that's a whole other video I do want to make. This has been long awaited and I'm excited to talk about it. So pretty much before we get into it, get that subscribe button and notification bell. Let's reach 36,000 tonight. But at the end of Squid Game Season 1, we saw Gi-hun be the winner, but ultimately decides to come back to end the games forever. We also saw Jun-ho get shot by the frontman, who is actually his brother. So that's a big thing going on right now, is that Jun-ho is the frontman who is the brother to Jun-ho. So we saw at the end of Season 1 he be shot and fall off a cliff. Now at the beginning of this season we realize that he is still alive. He was saved by this captain, and now him and also Gi-hun have teamed up to try and take down the games, and they're gonna go to the island and try to figure out a way to dismantle everything. Gi-hun is going back as a player, and Jun-ho is going to be a undercover like spy of sorts, and he's using a tracker that they put on Gi-hun. However, what happens is that they find the tracker, take it out, and now Jun-ho and the captain and the rest of the team have to use a drone and all of this technology to find the island. We'll get back to them in a bit. We also have another character here, Noel, who is a woman that came from North Korea trying to do better for her daughter, and she joins the games, but she joins it as a soldier, and she quickly realizes there's a evil organ harvesting operation going on unbeknownst to the others, and she doesn't really want to play along with this. So we ultimately see Gi-hun become one of the new players, 455 players now playing for the money. But there's some new rules here, like if you kill people, it adds to the pot of money, and also after each game the players have a chance to vote whether they want to end the game right here and then, and however many players are left, then they divide the pot between all of those players, but it has to be the majority that rules. So these new game rules really make it much more harder for everybody to really like try to play as a collective or as a community, if you will. A key thing to note here is that the player 001 also is the frontman. Yes, Jun-ho has now become player 001, unbeknownst to Gi-hun, who is trying to rally players together to stop all of this madness. Ultimately, we see that player 001 and Gi-hun start to form a sort of alliance together. He tells the story of his pregnant wife being in the hospital and that he wants to be able to provide as well. So Gi-hun and the frontman start to become close, and like I said, Gi-hun does not know that this is the frontman. To him, he is just another player. So we see the players play these games, and of course there's like the other players that are just in it for the money, like Thanos, who is just a very unrelenting psychopath, if you will. And Gi-hun tries his best to really rally the people together to try and end the game and to try to get to the frontman, which is crazy because the frontman is right in front of his face and he doesn't know it yet. And that really adds even more to the tension that we know that's the frontman. The frontman's just so psychotic, so calculating. He wants to be right in front of Gi-hun and make him sort of play his own game that he is trying to do, which we quickly find out is that the frontman does want this uprising that Gi-hun wants to do to happen in order to be able to prove this point. But let's go back to Jun-ho, who has now been on the look for this island for a bit now with the captain and the other people. Turns out that the captain is not indeed a friend, and he's actually leading them in circles as one of the crewmates sees that the captain is tampering with the drone and technology because he doesn't want them to find the island. And that is simply, in my opinion, because the captain is working for the Squid Game. It is very much so a possibility that where Jun-ho fell, that a captain would find him that works for Squid Game, because as we know, this is an island that's remote. Nobody knows where it is, and I'm pretty sure they have some security protocols around it so nobody can come through. How would this random captain just find Jun-ho, right? This is somebody who's working for the game in itself and is trying to keep Jun-ho away. Now, I don't think they're killing them, because I think the frontman didn't intend to kill his brother Jun-ho in season 1, so he just slightly injured him, made the call to the captain to get him, and now he's just driving him in circles. So it's going to be interesting to see once Jun-ho finds out the truth, how he's going to be able to get out of this and head to the island to help Gi-hun. Now, we also have Noelle, who is a soldier because she wants to provide for her daughter after she escaped North Korea, but she doesn't like the aspect of the soldiers killing people. Well, not really killing them, right? They kind of want to injure them enough to be able to harvest their organs, but she doesn't want to do this, so she ends up just killing people so they can't just be harvesting their organs. She kind of finds a soft spot for player 246 because she recognizes player 246 and that he has a daughter who is very sick, so she tries her best to really look out for player 246. When she ultimately has to shoot him, it looks like she doesn't really shoot him in a way to kill him, as we see in the episode. So it's going to be interesting to see if Noelle will end up becoming a part of like the soldiers and people who are trying to overcome Squid Game, right, later down the road, as she seems to be fed up with it all the time. Now, we quickly see at the end of the episode that the players get crazy as they go into a bathroom to fight because they know killing others will increase the prize money. We see with this all happening that Gi-hun uses this as a way to cause a distraction, while him and a small group will go and try to fight those in charge of the game. So when the fight finally breaks out, Gi-hun and his group stay hidden and emerge when the guards arrive to end the fight, and this is when Gi-hun and the group take the guns and kill the guards except for the supervisor. As this riot ensues, we see as they go on their route to try and get to the people at the top, the frontman, all of that. That's who Gi-hun wants to go to. Unbeknownst to him, like I said, the frontman has been with him this whole time. We finally see as the frontman, who is of course player 001, betray and kill 2 of the players, and the other players then surrender, and we see as Gi-hun is now captured by the frontman that is masked again, as well as Jun-bae, and asks Gi-hun if it was worth it playing the hero, and then he kills Jun-bae as Gi-hun watches in distress and cries. So that was pretty much the ending of Squid Game Season 2. We saw these 3 different stories of these 3 different people and their moralities and how it's changing, how they view things and all of that. Gi-hun came into this game not wanting to use people as sort of pawns or soldiers and things like that, but it looks like he's ending up using them in the same manner as the game in itself. Of course, he does have a much higher approach of wanting to do better, but at its core, it's like the frontman said, you are still using these people, and these people will not change. They want the money, and that's the nature of our society. In the other side of things, you have Noelle, who has become this soldier out of necessity and kills people for that, but now she's stuck in this very warped world that the soldiers have, where they harvest these people's organs in order to sell them in the black market. But now it seems she has a change of heart and might actually go to the other side. It's going to be interesting to have a soldier on the inside if she indeed makes friends with Gi-hun and the rest of the people that want to end the game. Now there's not as many X's as there is O's, so there's definitely going to be a continuation to the game, because right before the final episode it was said that they would vote again to see if the game ends, and of course now that there's more O's, they're going to continue the game. And I think the incentive with more people dying in that, once that pot fills up a lot, that's definitely going to make people want to keep going more and more into the game. And I think Gi-hun has definitely been broken mentally by the frontman after killing Jun-bae. So the frontman was very interesting that he became a player at the beginning, and I think that's something that's always going to happen in every iteration of Squid Game. There always has to be, I think, a person from the inside in order to sort of maintain control at the ground level, right? They have to make these people believe that there's hope and all of that, and that's exactly what Gi-hun was provided to by the frontman when he was player 001. It made him believe that there is other people that feel the same way and sort of challenged him at the same time. And Gi-hun, of course, saw this as a friend. And it's crazy that Gi-hun still doesn't know that the frontman was right next to him playing the same game, because right now they all think player 001 died during the riot, and that kind of gave the frontman an excuse to get out of the game already and to go back to being the frontman. In a very genius move, he was always one step ahead of Gi-hun and everybody else, and I'm very curious to see how they're ever going to do this, because it just seems impossible at this point to take down this game. But of course, we need Jun-ho to make it onto the island, but like I said, he's being taken in circles by the captain, who seemingly is working for the Squid Game itself. I think once they get Noel and all of that with them, this inside knowledge that Noel will bring about the game, about the guards and all of that, I think will help to elevate their chances of getting out of this. Now, one thing as well is the mid-credits scene, which teases a red light, green light with a male doll as well with the female doll. And I think that's in order to sort of bring it back to the beginning again and make it much more harder. I think they want to kill more people now. I think they saw that there was a way of this rebellion happening. I think you gotta lower that morale that they kind of have already and make them like scared. I think that's what they want to do with the Squid Game, because they really feel that Gi-hun is changing things up. Of course, the frontman really wants to bring Gi-hun down, and I think that's going to be a very interesting part about season 3, is this confrontation that I think will inevitably happen. So I thought the ending was great. I think that it definitely felt like they cut the season in half though. Like, I don't think that that was a proper ending like that. It's a huge cliffhanger that just leaves you like, what? Why would you just show me this? But I think that they really were just doing one final season. Netflix was like, no, we want that cash dough. But I will talk more about season 3 and my theories in a video tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe right now. Let's hit 36,000 subscribers. Let me know what you think about the end of Squid Game season 2. Where do you think we go from here? Like I said, the frontman wanted to play this mind tricks with Gi-hun. He wanted to be as close as possible to all of this. That way he can later show Gi-hun that you really can't trust nobody, and that people at the end of the day will just do whatever benefits them the most. We do need to avenge Jung-bae, because that definitely was a thing that hit us hard, right? Especially because Jung-bae, I think, got killed by player 001, otherwise known as the frontman, because if you remember, Jung-bae witnessed player 001 mercilessly kill another player, and he was trying to tell them what was happening, but of course with the voting and everything, never really got a chance to do that. Now Gi-ho, who is a former Marine as well here, and Kim Jong-hee are alive as well, but it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be adding new players into the next season. I'm very excited to see where we're going to go with this into the next season, but we'll talk about that in season 3 theories, about the players that did survive and the ones that are going to probably make a bigger appearance or splash when it comes to season 3. So stay tuned for that video where we discuss that. But yeah, definitely a much more psychological season than the first one. It definitely focused less on the games, I would say, and was more about them really trying to bring the games down, which I think is interesting to note, because I remember reading that the director wasn't really feeling about making season 2, and maybe this is just him showing that it's time to destroy Squid Games instead of focusing on the games, right? I don't know. I think it's interesting. We'll definitely talk more about that. So stay tuned. Hit the subscribe and hit the notification bell. Season 3 video theories tomorrow. So check out that video when you can. Let me know what you think about that twist with the frontman being in the game itself as player 001, and also Gi-hun trying to do this right, trying to do the uprising, and ultimately failing. Very sad indeed. Check out our video ending explained on Nosferatu, one of our favorite movies of the year, as well as some other videos we're going to be having this week from Baby Girl and Queer. But very excited to talk more movies with y'all. As always, stay safe, stay positive.